The town of Willow Creek, Arizona, was known for its dry heat and the resilient spirit of its inhabitants. Among them was Sam Henderson, a man who carried his 78 years with stoic grace. His days were simple, marked by the rhythm of the desert sun and the familiar routines he had established over decades. One of those deeply ingrained routines was his love for well-seasoned food. Salt, for Sam, was not just a condiment. It was an essential ingredient that brought life and flavor to every meal. But a recent visit to Dr. Evans would cast a long shadow over his culinary habits, leaving him with a prescription he found harder to swallow than any bitter pill. No more salt. Sam had always enjoyed his food robustly flavored. His wife, Martha, God rest her soul, had been a wonderful cook, but Sam always added a little extra something to his plate, a pinch more salt to his morning eggs, a generous shake over his evening stew. It wasn't just a preference. It was a habit, a taste ingrained over a lifetime of hearty meals, and the belief that bland food was an affront to the palate. His recent appointment with Dr. Evans had been routine, a checkup to ensure the old engine was still running smoothly. But the results of his blood pressure test had been alarming. "Sam," Dr. Evans had said, his voice grave, "your blood pressure is dangerously high. We need to make some changes, and the first and most crucial is your sodium intake. Absolutely no added salt." "Sam." "None." The words hit Sam like a physical blow. No salt? It was unimaginable. It was like asking a bird not to fly, a fish not to swim. His meals would be lifeless. He tried to argue, to reason with the doctor, but Dr. Evans was firm. "Your health is at serious risk, Sam. This isn't a suggestion, it's a necessity." Returning to his quiet home, the doctor's words echoed in his mind. He looked at the salt shaker on his kitchen table, a familiar ceramic piece he and Martha had picked up on a trip to Santa Fe years ago. It suddenly seemed like a menacing object, a symbol of a pleasure that was now forbidden. His first salt-free meal was a disaster. The scrambled eggs tasted like nothing. The toast seemed dry and tasteless. He tried adding pepper, a dash of garlic powder, but it wasn't the same. The familiar zing, the satisfying savory note that salt provided, was absent, leaving a void on his tongue and a hollowness in his appetite. Days turned into weeks, and Sam struggled. Every meal felt like a sacrifice, a constant reminder of what he had lost. He found himself looking at other people's food with a pang of longing, imagining the burst of flavor they were experiencing while he was left with blandness. He felt a sense of resentment, not towards Dr. Evans, whom he knew was only trying to help, but towards his own body for betraying him, for forcing him to give up one of life's simple pleasures. He missed the taste of his wife's hearty pot roast with that perfect hint of salt that brought all the flavors together. He missed the salty crunch of his favorite potato chips during his evening television. He even missed the subtle saltiness of a good slice of bread. It was more than just taste. It was a connection to his past, to his memories, to the simple joys he had always taken for granted. One evening, feeling particularly despondent, Sam sat on his porch, watching the sunset paint the sky in fiery hues. He thought of Martha, of how she had always encouraged him to take care of himself, even when he grumbled about it. He remembered her gentle nagging about his salt intake, warnings he had often brushed aside. A wave of regret washed over him. Had he listened to her then, would he be in this predicament now? Tears welled in his eyes, a salty wetness that felt strangely ironic. He was forbidden from tasting salt, yet his own body produced it in his sorrow. It was a bitter irony that didn't escape him. As the days continued, Sam slowly began to adapt, though not without a constant internal struggle. He started experimenting with herbs and spices, discovering new flavor profiles he had never paid attention to before. Lemon juice added a brightness, garlic and onion powder a subtle depth, and a pinch of cayenne pepper a surprising kick. It wasn't the same as salt, but it was something. He also started paying more attention to the natural flavors of food, the sweetness of ripe tomatoes, the earthiness of mushrooms, the subtle tang of vinegar. It was a new culinary landscape, one he was navigating with a reluctant but growing curiosity. His daughter, Emily, came to visit, concerned about his health. She was surprised to see him diligently preparing a salt-free meal, carefully measuring herbs and spices. "How are you managing, Dad?" she asked, a hint of worry in her voice. Sam sighed. "It's different, honey. I miss the salt, I won't lie. It's like a part of my meals is missing. But I'm trying, for my health. And, well, your mother would have wanted me to." Emily smiled and placed a hand on his arm. "She would be proud of you, Dad." One afternoon, while preparing a vegetable soup, Sam accidentally knocked over the salt shaker. The white crystal spilled across the counter, a stark reminder of what was forbidden. He stared at it for a long moment, a wave of longing washing over him. He could just add a tiny pinch. No one would know. But then he looked at his reflection in the kitchen window, a tired old man with a stubborn streak. He thought of Martha's worried eyes, Dr. Evans's stern warning, and the faint hope in Emily's voice. With a sigh, he carefully swept the salt into the trash. The journey was far from over. There were still moments of intense craving, times when a bland meal felt like an unbearable punishment. But amidst the frustration, a new awareness was growing within Sam. He was learning to appreciate the subtle nuances of flavor, to listen more closely to his body, and understand that true nourishment wasn't just about taste. It was about health and longevity. The tears he had shed that evening on the porch were not just tears of sadness and longing. They were also tears of acceptance, a silent acknowledgement of the change he needed to make. They were the bitter taste of goodbye to a habit he had cherished for so long, a necessary sacrifice for the sake of his well-being. And in the slow, deliberate process of learning to live without salt, Sam was discovering a new kind of strength, a quiet resilience that echoed the spirit of the desert he called home. He was learning that sometimes the most profound changes come with a sense of loss, but they can also pave the way for a healthier, longer road ahead, even if that road is a little less flavorful than he once preferred.